Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, people. You're back again with Talk Football. I haven't been here for like a couple of days, but then,
I never
uh,
leave.
yeah, Jesse, Joshy boy, they're always here with us. But coming back to you from a galaxy far, far away, we are bringing the Champions League 11. This is going to be with a twist as well. So, just to give you a little bit of an idea, this is the team of the season that was chosen by the UEFA guys, I believe. So they got Vinicius Junior, Benzema, Mbappe, Modric, Fabinho, De Bruyne, Robertson, Van Dijk, Rudiger, uh, Trent, and Courtois in their team. But we're going to do something different. What we're going to consider is the teams that only came into the the quarterfinals, and only two players can be chosen from each team that made the quarterfinals. Um, it's a little bit of a twist, but I think that would be fun. So in total, 16 players will be chosen, two from each team. So 11 starters and five on the bench. And boys, are we ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
See how we go with this one.
Excellent, excellent. Let me get our football squad builder up. Oh, bloody hell, sorry. It's been that sort of a week for us over here because it's cold and hot and cold and hot. It's just wonderful weather in Australia.
Don't
But
remind me. Cold snap.
so, yeah. Then let's start off with the goalkeeper.
Yeah. This one chooses itself for me. No real goalkeeper has actually stood out up until the very last moment, I think. Um, I've given consideration to certain players like Rulli from Villarreal. He had some very, very, very good games. He was brilliant in the first leg against Liverpool, pulled out some great performances. But the one that let him down, and I certainly couldn't choose him, was his performance in the second leg against Liverpool. He decided to go and forget how to be a goalkeeper for that second half. It was madness, really. Your usual kind of goalkeepers who come out there, your Allisons and your Mendy's, Stegens, and Manuel Neuers, they all struggle for things like clean sheets. So for me, it shows itself, which is Courtois, off the back of his unreal performance in the final. He was absolutely fantastic. Conceded a lot of goals in against teams like City as well. However, when the big moment came, he turned up and was absolutely spectacular.
Yeah. Okay, then. So we got Thibaut Courtois. Holy crap. Yeah, that. Found it. So it's Thibaut Courtois. I believe it's excellent choice as well. Which only leaves one more player that we can choose off of Real Madrid. So, Joshy boy,
Yes.
right back.
I'm going to throw a bit of a curveball and go against the grain. I actually want to choose João Cancelo. While he wasn't a standout, I think he did well enough in City's campaign to possibly get himself a spot there. Others may perform better, but if I'm going to, I think this team's going to be very attacking heavy when it comes to picking. Because I know, in the back room, we're all very very adamant it was going to be very very hard to pick. So I'm actually throwing Cancelo in there. I think he actually performed well for City. He wasn't the standout of the competition, but this just, for me, it just eliminates a City player to free up some spaces up the front. Really
Yeah,
strategic option, shall I say?
I get it. I get it. Yeah. I think it's a wise decision. It's a good decision. Cancelo did have a very very good campaign in the Champions League as well. I don't see anything wrong with choosing that. I believe it's my turn. I have been
Yes.
thinking about this quite hard. Sent for a centre back option. I got to put him in there. Thiago
See this
Silva.
coming. Yeah, I knew it.
I got to put him
No,
in there.
it
I
was very
mean,
good.
he has been immense. Like I was just checking his stats and stuff like that. To be honest, I was actually struggling to find a player to put in from Chelsea because we weren't that great. But out of all of these things, Thiago Silva has been very, 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 very good. Like, 65 ball recoveries, 9 tackles, and all these things. He's right up there with all the stats. That it comes into fruition of what he has done. Plus, you know, I can feel happy that I have done justice for Chelsea in this moment because I'm not going to choose any other player from Chelsea at all. He's the only one that deserves something from our team. Maybe Mendy had a
Yeah.
shout, but I can't see past Courtois as well. But
Well, that's the thing. The campaign didn't really dictate that he'd get in there either. Dropping out so early in comparison. So yeah.
I get it. And Thiago Silva was the only person for me at the end of the day to be chosen from Chelsea, if there was any other thing. But I hope you boys don't mind me choosing him, but that is gonna be my decision. But yeah. I hope I didn't put any I didn't cause any problems for your decisions. Where is Thiago Silva? There you go.
I think in this situation, like I said, it's going to be very attacking heavy, and all the best players were the attackers in my mind in the Champions League. So I guess getting rid of my strategy is kind of like the teams that didn't achieve as well. If we get them out of the way early in the defense, the outstanding performers, it might actually make it a bit easier in the front, in the midfield.
Yeah. A lot of teams did also concede a lot of goals as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Anything to be added there?
I think Dan is possibly having child issues there. I know the face, and that's the face of a parent not very happy.
All right. So I'll leave the next centre back option for Dan, but I'll go for Josh, which is going to be left back.
Left back. Oh, can we pick another right back or just a fullback in general? Here we'll bounce back to Dan. That looked like the face of a parent unimpressed.
Yes.
Left back. It's tough to get positions wise.
I was actually giving you centre back, but because
centre back. Yeah.
Yes.
Again, having to pick two and having to choose two players and two teams, again, it makes it difficult. No one, in my opinion, really stood out again all season.
Exactly right.
There was no real big performances from any big teams. So I'm going to use up one of my Villarreal sort of options just because this is probably one of the positions where they were really good at was defending and keeping teams out. So I'm going to choose Pau Torres. He, on the whole, was very good.
But that's it.
End of story.
Yeah, but that's it. But then I understand where Dan was coming from for Pau Torres because I believe, like, from the teams that actually tried to defend quite well, it was either a toss-up between Chelsea and Villarreal, but I would say Villarreal did an even better job in defending than
I'm more than happy with that. Villarreal actually, they got further than anyone expected them to, and that playing very defensive.
Yeah, but that was one of their mega strengths, wasn't it? Was Villarreal was defending. They came up against teams like Bayern Munich. They came up against Liverpool. They were unfortunate in the first leg to concede from the first goal because it was a bit of a deflection, and that's when the doors opened. He wasn't exceptional, but I think he was absolutely integral for Villarreal to where they got to. So, Pau Torres, just because I think that was where their strengths lay. They weren't a great attacking team, so they've got to be somewhere in defence for me.
I agree. So, Josh, left back.
See, this one's very difficult because I was actually going to say Carvajal, but that is going to take up all the Madrid players, and strategically, there's someone up very front that I would love to give it to. So this makes it very hard. And you don't really want to play players out of position, so jeez. Would anyone be upset if I put in a Liverpool fullback into left back?
I have no problem.
It's because I didn't want to put Trent in out of position, but I thought Robertson did very well as well. So it's I don't know. It's one of those really difficult ones.
See, the thing is, you are right, because Robertson actually did make it to the team of the year.
Yeah, but I wasn't really thinking about that. I'm just thinking you have to adopt a little bit of strategy with this as well, because I could have easily said Carvajal. His performance in the final, he didn't get shredded up at all. Really, he made a very good account of himself, and I could have put him on that opposite fullback. Sorry, but I'm going to actually say Andy Robertson. I'm going to say Robertson only. Yeah, I just think it's going to be very hard coming to the attackers. But he had a wonderful campaign. He was actually one of my players of the Champions League in the defensive line. So very impressive. So I'm going to put Andy Robertson in there.
All right. I completely agree. I believe you could see a proud Dan sitting there, Andy Robertson. It makes his life
he's a good choice. He's a good choice. I didn't think he was the most key standout player for Liverpool. I think there were some better players who performed. Again, it was strange because especially for Liverpool, there wasn't anyone who was a key standout player really. It was sort of a full sort of team performance. Everyone kind of put did something to get Liverpool to where they got to in the end. But yeah, he was a solid left back, and
I think on the defensive side of things is like Trent, as we know, he's just immense attacking player and he's solid defensively. But I just think out and out defensively to fill that back line, it had to be Robertson. He's the only standout for me that was more consistent than the others in Liverpool's back line. So yeah.
So then back to you. Our defensive sort of midfielder.
I mean, this is where I'm going to choose the final Liverpool player, I'm afraid. If for me, it's got to be Fabinho. I think he was very good in the final. Came back from injury, completed 63 passes out of 63. He was solid. He kept up with the energy. He's played an awful lot of games this season. He's played every game for Liverpool in the Champions League, bar one match. I couldn't not choose him, really, for me.
I would have chosen Fabinho as well. He was immense.
The camera zoomed in on the team on my screen, mate.
Sorry?
I can only see the top left-hand corner of the team, the team sheet, so I can't see the team.
Oh, I can see the lot. So I'm not sure if that's
it must just be on my screen. I can only see
maybe jump out and jump in again, maybe, or just refresh it. You should be fine because it seems okay from my side.
That's fine, no problem. As long as it's okay, no problem. That's fine.
Yeah. Josh.
Yes.
A midfielder, please.
How many I kind of want to put a Villarreal player in. I'm sort of edging towards Danny Parejo, or I think he had actually quite a good campaign.
He did.
He was actually very competitive with a lot of the big boys in that midfield, which dictating the sort of team Villarreal are. They on paper they should have been dominated, but he made a very good account of himself. He was particularly good against against Bayern. I thought he had a good two legs actually, but I don't know. Is there been there's no Villarreal players in there yet, is there? Oh, Pau Torres.
Pau Torres is there.
Okay. See, actually, no. I'm actually going to go. I'm going to put my second City player in. Actually, I'm going to say Kevin De Bruyne.
Oh,
I just we had a rotation. Okay, never mind. I'm going to say Kevin De Bruyne. He did what Kevin De Bruyne does. He created. He was a very he was an immense performer. Like his passing statistics were immense. I mean, he was just doing what he does. We all know how good he is. We all know how. Yeah, he just it's unfortunate that I think for him being such a good player, I would have loved to have seen him win it just for his sake, not for Man City's sake, just for his sake, because someone that talented needs to have a lot more silverware than he's been getting just in domestic leagues. But that'll be my choice.
Mm-hmm. Right. So
that rules out City. Yep.
So that rules out City and actually rules out Liverpool as well. So we are left with one more choice for Real Madrid, a couple of choices for Atletico Madrid. Bayern Munich, we have two more choices. One more choice for Villarreal, one choice for Chelsea, and two choices for Benfica. For this third midfield spot, I was thinking long and hard about this situation, and it was so hard for me to figure out what was happening for this third spot. What could I do? Who could I pick? And so on and so forth. To be honest, I think I'm gonna choose my first Bayern Munich player for this.
Okay.
And I am gonna choose Leroy Sané.
Yeah.
He has been excellent. 6 goals, 6 assists, and maybe one was maybe he was stat padding against that team that they scored like 7 or 8. But still, he has his stats up there. You know what I mean? But yeah, for me, I am definitely choosing Leroy Sané because I feel like he has done really well in this campaign for Bayern Munich, and he's in the top 3 assisters for the Champions League. So like Bruno Fernandes, Vinny Jr., and then it's Leroy Sané. So that's my choice in for the midfield. So coming back to left wing, Dan.
Yes, finally an easy one from one of the teams who is less choosable. It's Darwin Núñez, isn't it?
Yep.
It's absolutely got to be Darwin Núñez. He's had an absolutely outstanding season. He is technically can play as a striker and does play as a striker, but I'm going to use him as his other position, which he plays, which is off the left-hand side, and I am shamelessly going to use that to my full advantage.
Good choice.
Yeah, he scored both legs against Liverpool. He was always a threat. He is a raw young talent.
Yeah.
Very heavily linked with a number of Premier League teams. He's a very exciting young player. Reminds me of Lukaku, but in odd ways, he also reminds me a little bit of a player like Fernando Torres, just an exceptional finisher, someone who can just run in behind. We look in there, 98 pace. The man's a rocket ship. He's very, very
Only thing
fast.
is he doesn't know how to stay on side.
Yeah, I mean, but this is what happens. It comes with age, comes with knowledge and stuff. And if he can become a little bit more clever, a little bit more savvy, this guy has got a lot, a lot to give and a lot of potential. But he's had a great Champions League season for Benfica and in the Premiera. So for me, probably the most easy one, probably from one of those lower end teams. He's just been fantastic.
I mean, well done. I was going to choose Núñez as well. I think that was in with a shout. But I believe Josh is going to get his wish, and I'm going to give him to choose the striker role.
Okay, so can I just get a head count? Is it one for Madrid, one for Bayern?
Yes.
One for Madrid, one for Bayern.
Oh, jeez. You see, this is the one. This one is the one that I'm really, really struggling with because Lewandowski, insane numbers, insane campaign, but knocked out early.
Yeah.
Benzema went to the final, won the final, and just blew everyone away in that got in his way, basically. Like, I don't know where this new level of his come from, but he's been impressive. So with that, I'm just going to say that the default is going to be, it's got to be Karim Benzema. Dude is absolutely, he's like a fine wine. I mean, the thing that impresses me the most about him is that what is he now, 33, I think?
I think so, yeah, 33.
33, yeah, like one of the few players that at that age is still doing world-class, playing world-class levels and doing it effectively. I'm just... some of the goals he scored, like a couple of them have come from Real Madrid counterattacks, for example, and the fact that he's been there in the box to be on the end of those crosses when you've got Rodrigo, Vinny Jr., and they're bombing down the wings. These guys are immense in their pace, and he's still just there to be on the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think was it a little back heel assist or something he did for someone.
Oh yeah, 100%.
His little back heel. Yeah, no, I think he was the shoe in for that striker position for sure. So
yeah, absolutely.
And now this puts me in a very difficult position.
I'm glad I'm not in it.
Because right wing, like there is no obvious choice for right wing, isn't it? Now.
Have we used both City players?
Both City players gone. Both
Liverpool
players gone.
Sorry, I can't help you. Sorry.
What about is Villarreal all out?
No, so that's what I was thinking of Villarreal in this situation. I was just checking who I can put from Villarreal. But the thing is, Villarreal didn't score much goals, though.
No.
You got Atletico still. So you got two players from Athletic.
Yeah, but Athletic didn't score many goals as well. That's the problem. I was just checking how many assists. The maximum assist any player has made in Atletico Madrid is 2, and that is from a defender. So goals.
Oh wow!
I know João Felix scored in the against United, didn't he?
And that was the only goal he scored for the whole campaign.
They've had a very poor attacking season. They only won 2 matches in the group stage. They were poor. They got to where they were based on being the best of the rest and went out of the group, really.
Exactly, and it's very difficult to choose anybody else because from this. But like I was just checking so many things to choose a proper player for this situation, but doesn't seem like I am able to choose any player. To be honest, it has been.
Could I just throw in a random shout there? What is Leroy Sané possibly one for a mention in there? I know it's not his outright position, but
no, but he's already in the team.
But could we move him?
Oh wait, yes. Sorry, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot about the midfield there. I mean, could we shove him to the wing and put in another midfielder? Is that a rule? I don't know.
No, we can do that. We can definitely do.
We're building the team. It doesn't matter where they play, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, if you have a midfielder in mind that hasn't been used yet, that could well make it a lot easier for, especially pushing onto the bench. You could get rid of someone that was kind of a hard choice.
100%. But I was actually having a different sort of thought for this, but my thought was actually wrong. So I think the option would be to move Leroy Sané to this position because he can play that position, isn't it? So I am left with choosing a midfielder. So for this,
no, you've. I mean, that's it. You've now got the great opportunity of picking a central midfielder, of which no one really stood out.
Again, so I'm back in the same. I'm back in the same position. But
oh wow, yeah.
It's so bad. It's so bad. It's how did I end up having the difficult decision now? I don't know. But I had a midfielder in my mind from the start for this. It's an outside shout. it's a weird shout as well. Etienne Capoue.
Yes, you took my one. Yes.
There you go.
I had him down as a... He had some good performances. Not the most exciting of names, but
he has had a brilliant season.
he has. He really, really
Yeah.
has.
Chuck him in there. Yeah.
I believe in the second leg against Liverpool, he was fantastic.
Yeah, and this is what I mean. He has been fantastic.
You know, so yeah, Etienne Capoue, definitely. Yeah, he's really stepped up from his Tottenham days, hasn't he?
Exactly. Like, he has had 4 assists in a very, very defensive team and also scored 2 goals. So I believe he is pretty good, isn't it?
I mean, 6 goals, 6 goal contributions from midfield for a team that rarely scores many goals is pretty decent. He's been integral, hasn't he?
Exactly. I actually like he was integral. Yeah, Josh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that outstrips. I think that outstrips all of the Atletico Madrid midfielders' stats when it comes to that. So, and we're talking about a Simeone team here. I mean, they're ashamed of their former selves, but
exactly
that is what they do in that team. And the fact he's outdone that in a smaller and, I guess, good shout. Yeah, I'm very happy with that actually.
That 87 Capoue. Fair play to him.
He has actually done really well, but this gives Dan to choose a first substitute.
Yes.
You have 2 Atletico Madrid players that you can choose from. You also have 1 Bayern Munich player to choose from, 1 Chelsea player to choose from, and 1 Benfica player to choose from.
Okay. Well, I'm going to finish off Benfica. I believe, or no, actually, I'm not. I'm going to choose our first Atletico Madrid player. And this is who I would have put at left back. And it is Lodi.
Yeah, he has been.
Lodi was a very, very useful player for Atletico Madrid, who lacked goals, who lacked clean sheets as well, and were lacking in most departments. However, he did score a very important goal against Manchester United, which got them to the quarterfinals. And I am scraping the barrel a little bit because they weren't brilliant. I think we can all admit that Atletico were a shadow when they played in the quarterfinals. They were, well, at best, ineffective against Manchester City. 180 minutes and they just chased City round, and then in the second leg they just kicked them. You know, that was where it got to in the end. But he was the only player for me who really shone from Atletico. And that is something when they have players like Antoine Griezmann, Luis Suarez, João Felix. You know, these are all the bigger names, and none of them were really any good, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
So Lodi.
Yeah, very, very, very good choice.
He made it very difficult for United as well, just to add on there. Like, he was probably the only threat in that team. Despite United being shocking and being carved open, he was actually a legitimate constant threat. So, yeah, that's a big call. That's a good one.
Yeah.
So is this second bench spot?
Yep, second bench spot for you. So you can choose 1 Atletico Madrid player, 1 Bayern Munich player, 1 Chelsea player, and 1 Benfica player. That's all that is left.
Well, I think just for the sake to get it out of the way, I'm going to actually pick the other Chelsea player.
Oh, shit. Yeah, go
on. And it's going to be one that was overlooked earlier, and it's kind of an odd one to do in a 5-man bench, but I'm actually going to say Edouard Mendy.
He has been actually really good, to be honest.
I think Chelsea may have gone out earlier if he wasn't their primary goalkeeper in this. He had the same equal top clean sheets in the entire campaign. So despite Chelsea not being overly impressive, he actually I guess it was the De Gea to United when things are crappy. Like they weren't playing well, but he kept them in it, and those performances can't be overlooked. And yeah, so I think that just strategically puts everyone else in a good position. So go for your life.
No, but you are absolutely right. He has conceded only 7 goals for the whole campaign.
Yeah.
Right. Played 9 games. Have 5 clean sheets. According to the matches he's played, and compared to the Courtois, compared to all the other goalkeepers out there, he has done really, really well for himself, to be honest. So I kind of agree with you with that choice. I believe it is my choice for substitution. So I have 3 teams that I can choose from. And I'm going to go with another left field one. I'm actually going to choose Antoine Griezmann.
Oh, okay.
I'll give you the reason as to why I'm actually choosing Antoine Griezmann. From that team, we know that they were, defensively pretty good, but that's what is expected from an Atletico Madrid team anyway. However, in the goal scoring and assisting thing, the only other player that has done something other than Renan Lodi is Antoine Griezmann. He has maybe a couple of extra goals than Renan Lodi, but he has also assisted. So that's why I'm choosing Antoine Griezmann, because I checked everything from that Atletico Madrid team. Nobody has done anything, and he's miles better than all the other players. Whereas everyone else has only scored 1 goal, whereas Griezmann has scored 4 goals. He's done his job for the team, basically.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I'm choosing Griezmann. So, yeah. Griezmann. Holy shit, I can't find it. Oh, sorry. I misspelled it. There you go.
Perfect.
So now, Dan, coming back to you for the last substitute player, you got 1 Bayern Munich player and 1 Benfica player that you can choose from.
This one's the easy one. I'm going Robert Lewandowski.
Oh, shit.
I'm taking him. I'm afraid. He's the easy one. If it wasn't for Benzema being absolutely exceptional, it would be him. I certainly wasn't overlooking him. He was incredible. He'd been fantastic from the start.
Exactly right.
No, I 100% agree. I'm so glad he picked it, because that was going to be my next one if no one picked it. So
now it's your choice, and I know you have a tough one. You have to choose 1 Benfica player, and it's a tough one. They have performed exceptionally well, by the way, Benfica.
It's one of those difficult ones where they, on paper, they shouldn't have got as far as they did or done as well as they did. But he wasn't the greatest performer. I'm going to go for a Premier League alumni here. I think Jan Vertonghen had a very good campaign, and it was more of I think the experience of the man at the back just helped them a lot more than it would have been if it was just the the Premier League centre backs that they normally hold on to. So probably for that reason alone, I would pick him over anyone else in that team. There were better performers, but I just think it's one of those solid entrants that just helped them get further than they really should have, in my opinion. So
I would have chosen Vertonghen or Otamendi. It was just a coin toss between either or, and I believe you have made the correct decision by choosing Vertonghen. Josh, he was immense for them.
He was. He was really important.
Vertonghen. It's impressive it's incredible to see, isn't it? Like forgotten players like Jan Vertonghen, Nicolas Otamendi, making some good things happen for themselves. Etienne Capoue, you know what I mean?
These are all players that we kind of wrote off, hadn't we? At the clubs where they were initially at. You thought Vertonghen's past it now. He's had his best years at Tottenham. Otamendi never really kicked off at City. He's probably, again,
Diego
probably gone
Costa
past his
ruined
very
his life.
best. Yeah.
Yeah.
If we
Diego
continue.
Costa ruined him.
Absolutely ruined him. And then Etienne Capoue, like a player who, like, I don't think anybody would ever have had down as being, capable of playing in a semi-final of a Champions League and being as sort of influential as he is. So it goes that when you put the right players in the right teams, you can certainly get a tune out of them, can't you?
Yeah, he went from Tottenham to Watford, ended up at Villarreal, and then winning a Europa League, and then went on to be in the semi-final of a Champions League. What a ride that man has been on.
It's a mad story, isn't it?
Yeah. Josh, are you happy with this team?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just actually quite shocked that, there's no Vidi Jr., Salah, Mane, like the hard hitters, Rodrigo, who else you want to throw in? Isco, Kroos, Modric, like Van Dijk, the winners, and the criteria made it exceptionally difficult. But I still think if that 11 and bench went out against any other team, it's going to make a good account of itself.
There'd be a game on Monday.
Definitely.
But the whole reason for doing it in this way as well, I got to I don't know, maybe I'm being a bit hyperbolic here, but at the end of the day, why I think this has to be this way is because sometimes players who are in clubs like Villarreal, clubs like Benfica, clubs, for an example, like, let's say Sheriff, this is just an example, I'm putting it out there. They would be overlooked by Liverpool. They would be overlooked by the players in Real Madrid, players in Manchester City.
Yeah.
It's easy for us to come out there and choose. Yep, Andy Robertson in left back, Trent Alexander-Arnold in right back. Van Dijk, Konate, Courtois in goal. But that is like, for me, I feel like it's not actually appreciating players like Etienne Capoue for what they have done this season. It's not appreciating players like Leroy Sané for what they have done this season for Bayern Munich. Darwin Núñez, the same case.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, Darwin Núñez, like, would he actually be as sought after by the Premier League clubs if he didn't perform this well in the Champions League? That's one of the other things. It's like this stage is a brilliant elevator for players that normally wouldn't get the attention unless, heavily scouted. So the links with it's like, I know it's United. I think Liverpool had some interest in Núñez as well.
Apparently Chelsea is looking at him now as well.
Chelsea, I know Tottenham were sort of kind of involved there for a while. So, the Champions League was a brilliant platform to see him go up against elite teams, elite players, and still put in performances that he was doing in his domestic league.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a very good, that's why I love the competition as well. Like, you get those little stories like, Sheriff beating Real Madrid or Benfica making it to the knockouts and putting up a good fight, Villarreal going to all but a game before. It's it's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah. And I believe us, even look at, Pau Torres, none of them, if we look at the Champions League 11, nobody chose Pau Torres. It's the usual suspects: Kylian Mbappe, Benzema, Vini Jr., Luka Modric, Fabinho, De Bruyne, Robertson, Van Dijk, Rudiger. Even though I think Thiago Silva did a better job than Rudiger, Alexander-Arnold and Thibaut Courtois. Where is the respect for the players like Pau Torres? Where is the respect for players like Jan Vertonghen, who brought their teams up to the quarterfinals? Where is the respect for players like Renan Lodi, even Edouard Mendy?
Yeah,
and that's why we bring these, and that's why we bring these rules in to only have 2 players from each team, because it allows not the wheat from the chaff, but it kind of says that we know it's about who was the most influential. If you had to choose 2, who were the 2 that you couldn't do without? We look at Real; they couldn't do without Courtois, and they couldn't do without Benzema. Exactly. As much as so many other players were integral and important, none were anywhere near as important as these 2.
Exactly.
It's not even kind of close. Capoue, again, all these players, I think, are probably the most important players for each of those teams, because without them, chances are, we look at Villarreal, without Capoue doing what he's done, they probably go out in the round of 16 at the very best.
Yeah.
And instead they went to a semi-final, and it's a brilliant story for a town as small as Villarreal. It's a fantastic story. Benfica carried on the back of Darwin Núñez, 22 years of age. He's done a brilliant job there, and it's lovely stories. But if you only choose the best players from the best teams, then you don't get to tell the stories of some of these players.
Exactly.
Well, it avoids all those safe choices too, because anyone can come up with a team of the season or a team of the finals just based on semi-finalists, and everyone would just accept it. Whereas these players, all the winners and all of the deep runs, they've all had players that have put in great performances, but that doesn't mean that they perform better than players in teams that got knocked out earlier. It's just, they might peak at the right time of the competition, and it is unfair to overlook all these smaller teams, because without these less well-known players, we may not have the talent that we do if they're not scouted right. And that's what I was saying, like Núñez is now, he's actually shown, well, not shown regularly enough, but he's on the level where everyone is looking at him and performing in the way he has in both the competitions that he's taken part in. It's fingers crossed that he can step it up when he inevitably gets his move.
Exactly. Like for me, another player, Nicolas Otamendi, he could have gone in for Jan Vertonghen or either or, whichever way you get it from the Benfica side of things. But these players were outcasts in the Premier League. But
Villarreal's full of them.
What a story, isn't it?
Yeah, Villarreal's full of them, full of players who were kind of let go from other clubs. Dan Juma, Giovanni Lo Celso. They've come together, and it shows when you get the right manager and the right players together, is that that they are some of the most influential players, and that's why as I say, it's really important that if we add this little twist to it, it gets you thinking, doesn't it? It gets you stop looking at just the easy, safe choices like Josh says, and go for let me have a think. If I've only got two choices, who am I choosing? I've got to build an 11 here, and now I need to dig a little bit deeper and start considering players that maybe don't have the same clout or the same sort of he's brilliant on the ball. It's kind of looking deeper into it and going, what do they do for this team?
100%.
And that also strips back that extra layer where a lot of your FIFA fanboys are just like, we want our techie ballers that are, 98 run stats. Like that, it's basically just teenagers' wet dreams on FIFA cards. It's just it's one of those annoying. It's one of those annoying things that everyone just like you appreciate these technical players, what they bring to you, but it's actually the spine and the workhorses that I think, understandably, in any sport, they get overlooked, underrated, and they're actually probably more crucial to these teams than the flashy and techie players. They're just the icing on top. And talking about Villarreal, like a lot of them are, as you say, they're outcasts, or they left clubs on free because they weren't part of the plans. And in that mentality, that builds a strong little backbone for this team. Like they're a very tight unit, and while they haven't done that well in La Liga this year, it's the fact that they've gone through Europa League. They beat United, obviously, and then they've gone through and gone this far in this year's Champions League. And this is from players that were told they weren't good enough for the top flight. And I'm not going to say it's egg on the faces of the clubs that let them go, but it would definitely make some of them, scratch their neck. Or just scratch their head going, well, okay, maybe we did make a mistake. So it's a good story. I do like him. Yeah.
No, but you're absolutely right. Like, who would have thought former Watford player Etienne Capoue will be playing in the semi-final of the Champions League? I wouldn't have thought so.
One voice.
Yeah.
He's one of the Villarreal defenders. He was another reject, like.
it is absolutely incredible, and this is why we're gonna use a very very similar format to choose our Premier League 11 as well, where
Yeah.
we are only going to be choosing one player from each team, and we are going to have 20 players as well. It will be 11 starting, and then everyone else on the bench. But
Yeah.
it it's sort of more of like an appreciation of what these clubs do for us and what these players give us, and more or less why we watch them day to day. For me, I look at it as I haven't forgotten what you have given me as an experience, basically.
Mhm.
That's how I look at
Definitely.
it. Watford, I haven't forgotten you because you had Emmanuel Dennis. He had a wonderful game. Norwich, I might forget a
Yes.
little bit because they haven't given me any sort of memories.
That's where it's going to get difficult.
Yeah, but other than that, other than that, everyone else has given me some sort of memories. Burnley, I could say, that guy Rodriguez or somebody has given me some good memory. Things like that. Tarkovsky. I absolutely love Tarkovsky, but
Ben Me.
Ben Me, like players like this
Yeah.
that nobody speaks about and things like that. But yeah, this is our Champions League team of the season. We did promise you a twist, and I believe there has been a lot of twists and turns in this Champions League team of the season. It is a nice little short compact stream for you today with a lot of energy, a lot of fun, a lot of taking part on this. But if you think that our
It was
choices
good.
are if you think that our choices are wrong for this,
Put
please
your own in
do
the 11.
put your own 11 in the comments, basically. But
But use the same criteria. I don't want to see
use the
any of
same
these safe
criteria.
bets.
Use the same
Let's see what we come up
criteria,
with.
because the criteria would be you can only select two players from the clubs that qualified for the quarterfinals of the Champions League, and that's it.
And you can suffer like we did.
You can suffer like we
Yes.
did. I absolutely suffered. I didn't know what I was going to do.
Nearly had a hernia just trying to come up with an option. Oh, but
Trying to
Yeah.
find a player out of Atletico Madrid other than Lodi. So if you can put a team and 11 together, 16 players. If you've got any changes, we'd love to hear it. We'd love to see your thoughts. So stick it in the comments.
Yeah, 100%.
absolutely.
Anyway, boys, it has been an absolute joy as always meeting with you guys, doing these fun streams. And yeah, once again, I need to say my catchphrase, it is what it is. We might have t-shirts coming in for that later on, hopefully
Can I just
next
jump in
year.
for a quick shout out here? I just
Yeah.
want to do a big shout out for Anthony, Dan, and Jesse in the background doing all the hours that you've been slugging in the background. This wouldn't be possible without all you guys.
Bro.
So I'm not as creative and not as genius as you guys. Your overlays, your ideas, your brainstorming, everything you do. Like big up to you guys. So that's from the community. Well, I guess I could talk for the community in that regard. So yeah, like we're all very appreciative because this wouldn't be possible without background work that you guys chuck in. And big up to Jesse too, even though he's not here on the panel. So yeah,
Oh
big up
yeah,
guys.
but also big up to a lot of guys who jump in with us on these calls, especially you, Josh. Jamie, Annie. We have these conversations day in day out. Twisted in the chat, Annie again in the chat, and many others who jump in the chat. Neil, all everybody who watch our videos. It's a big up. It helps us. And yeah, I was telling Dan about a comment the other day which somebody has seen one of our videos, and it actually, I could hear the joy in his voice because
I was made up. Yeah.
it was just
Yeah,
one
yeah.
comment.
So a comment is someone, and that's what it's about. We're here to try and make some entertainment. That's all we're trying to do, to make something that's entertaining and is informative, is funny, is a good laugh. Kind of
exactly.
gets people thinking, but also it's interactive because that's what we're here for.
Yeah, And something that's
know.
a little bit different to the other mainstream van stuff as well, because a lot of that's becoming formulaic, and that's not a dig at them, because respect for all those big channels, they get what they did for a reason. But something that's more very wholesome and community focused is the aim here. I'm assuming so. Yeah.
100%.
Because that's what we are all about, and that's what we want to create as well, and that's why we don't mind doing all these random weird stuff, which actually puts us into a lot more trouble and it makes us think as well. And as I said, it is what it is. But thank you, Josh, for that little thing that you did for us. But
That's
I
fine.
I reciprocated a million times from my side. I understand a lot of you guys can't join us live as well, but everybody who makes the effort to join us on the streams, Dan, yourself, Jamie, Andy, and Jesse. I'm sorry if I'm missing any more. Flo as well, who is one of our Arsenal fans. It's wonderful to see you guys join us on the stream. And we are just going to keep on doing what we are doing, and hopefully there will be more people who would love to join us in these streams and do what they like to do. And we invite you. This is just a public invite.
It's an open invitation.
Anybody wants to come on, you can do that without a problem. But this is all we have for you guys today, folks. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Dan. Oh shit! Thank you, Dan. Far out. Thank you, Josh. Once again, thank you, Dan. It has been wonderful again with you guys. Thank you. Goodbye. God bless, and good night. And always remember, people, it is what it is.